Okay, there we go. Alright, everything should be hopefully clean for you now. And we'll hopefully be watching a great game. And just, let's see. Darn, I have my, I wanted to speed up the game a little bit, and I, forgot what hotkey it is. So I'm still learning this. I have a little cheat sheet I have right here. Adjust scroll speed, volume, redraw, camera zoom. Oh, it's all very complicated. All new hotkeys that I have to learn. Oh, shoot. Adjust playback speed. Okay, left alt plus. Alright, let's try this out. Okay, that looks a little faster. Okay, there we go. We're gonna keep it on this speed. This is like 60 speed, I think. Alright, there we go. Everything should be good. I see you guys already found my desktop things. You probably didn't see my desktop background, but it is in fact Age of Empires related. Anyway, let's get to the game. Hello everyone, my name is Nobody. This is this week's Games of the Week. This is game number 1 out of 3. Game number 2 will be Arabia, as well with Nicov. And game 3 will be a Nomad matchup. This was played early in the week. MBL playing in yellow as the Teutons. And in green, we have Nicov playing as the Persians. Love these colors. And yes, we are using Capture Age. If you're watching this on Voobly Official or Voobly Official YouTube, this might be the first game uploaded there, although I'm not sure. Probably not. If you're watching this on my YouTube, then this is the first time you've seen me use Capture Age. And if you've been completely in the dark, this is a new technology developed some people in the community. It's currently free to casters right now. Not everyone can get this for some reasons that may or may not be obvious. And yeah, it's a really great tool, and yeah, we'll probably be casting with this from now on, as long as we have the ability to do so. So we have a Teutons-Persians matchup on Arabia. Let's take a look at MBL's map to start things off. He's already lured in a single deer. Now, MBL's map is kind of mixed. We have 2 forward golds. We have a giant hill on the front. Luckily, MBL won't have any trouble luring in his boar, as he usually doesn't. And he's got his berries on the front part, so this is a very vulnerable part of MBL's map. And down at the bottom, we have the gold. However, I expect MBL to wall there. This wood line is vulnerable to archers. And he's got a wood line on the left, a wood line in the back. No resources in the back except for 1 stone. There's a stone up in the north. And this is not a very good map for MBL at all because of these vulnerable resources. And no good resources in the back. Taking a look at Nikov's map, as we can see, Nicov already building his barracks. Has a gold that's very much in a weird position. It's on the other side of that wood line. He's actually going to go for this gold first, which is much safer, although it is smaller. Nicov not finding these 2 sheep. And is starting a wall off over here. Always dicey when you wall on a hill because these walls will be a little bit weaker. And it's always easier to have a hole. So Nicov not having a nice map either. And this certainly could be a very vulnerable part of Nikov's map. Not to mention the stone is far away. So both these maps are very vulnerable. Both these maps are not the best kinds of maps. This should favor an aggressive kind of game. Interestingly, what I did like about this matchup when I was looking things up was that this is a Persians-Teutons matchup. These are 2 extremely heavy cavalry civilizations. Probably won't see too many archers. Both players going for a Dark Age rush. As you can see, no Feudal Age coming in quite yet. And it's kind of interesting. We don't see Dark Age rushes too often from these players anymore. Mostly it's the Men-at-Arms rush. Maybe some players are finding some usefulness with the Dark Age rush. One of the benefits is that it definitely lends better to a fast castle or a straight archer build, I think. So players are thinking about fast castle, which they're probably not. Which begs the question, I wonder what kind of strategy they're thinking of. Here's the first fight of this game. I could drag and click here. As you can see, much more HP for Nicov because he has the scout in there. And where the hell is MBL's scout? There it is. Are looking for a juicy boar to lure. And even with the scout now, Nicov still has a significant amount more HP. MBL really misplayed this. His scout was nowhere near his militia. And now Nicov can chase down these militia. And Nicov is actually going to send 1 militia for it because he doesn't even need it. Even with 1 militia back, he still has more overall HP than all the units here for MBL. So this unit's going to go back. It's going to collect some valuable scouting information. You can see where MBL puts his walls. And also if any military production buildings are coming down. Nicov going with the fast feudal. It's pretty expected on Arabia. But this is not normal at all. It's not normal to go for a Dark Age rush and then a stable. I do wonder why Nicov chose this kind of build. It's a very unusual build. I never recommend players go for a Dark Age rush followed up by scouts. Obviously, this is a cavalry civilization. Maybe doesn't want to go into archers. But I think we're going to see the reason why you don't see this build too often. If these scouts try to attack these walls and MBL is able to keep them out, MBL should be able to hit a fast castle. And what I think Nicov should do is either he should get up to Castle Age really quickly, or he should go forward with some villagers and go all in so those scouts can eventually get in through those walls. But we don't really see that right now. And it looks like those militia were cleaned up. No, KD's still 1-1. Let's see if I could use Fog of War. So, ooh. Alright, there we go. I'm surprised I remember that hotkey. There's the Fog of War. And I don't see any militia units from MBL, although I see the KD is 1-1. You can actually see the military count here on the bottom. Maybe that is a bug, as I don't see the militia anymore for MBL. Maybe they were killed by wolves or something. I'm actually not sure what the difference between Arabia and ECL Arabia is. There are some small differences. I assume ECL Arabia might be dry Arabia. So checking Nikov's resources, he has 700 food, 330 gold in the bank. Great resources. Was lacking a little bit of wood, but now he has it. So there's the market. And MBL is going to successfully pull off a fast castle without taking too much damage. So this was a risk from MBL, and it looks like it's going to pay off. These militia might get through, they might not. MBL's probably going to come over and repair this. The only problem with MBL is he's going for a fast castle with a very weak economy. He didn't even... Oh, there's the blacksmith. So he's going to come out with some knights. And if Nicov walls himself properly, then he should be able to hold out and get up to the next stage with a little bit of a better eco. However, Nikov's walls are not very easy. That's going to take a lot of resources. There's a wolf here as well. Need to wall here as well. And there, and it's so many resources for Nicov to wall. I just didn't like this opening strategy. Dark Age rush into scouts. He's built 1, maybe 2 scouts. And those scouts haven't done anything, and that's kind of to be expected. I'm not really sure what Nicov was thinking with this kind of build. So both players, for 100%, will reach the Castle Age at some point in this game. So that means we're going to have a Teutons and Persians matchup in the Castle Age. Both civilizations have strengths and weaknesses in this particular matchup, which favors cavalry very much. One of the bonuses of the Persians, so both civilizations do get eco bonuses. The Teutons, of course, get cheaper farms. The Persians get faster working town centers. Those are both big eco bonuses that'll help support knights. However, the Persians do get access to the camel, which is a huge asset. Meanwhile, the Teutons will have better monks, and will have knights that resist conversion, in case we see a lot of monks on the field. But since both these civilizations are cavalry heavy, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Haub or pikeman transition at some point in this game. Nicov finishing off his walls and using a lot of villager time to do so. Not to mention these walls are extremely weak. Only palisades in the Castle Age. Oh, so interesting. Such an unorthodox play from Nicov. And look at what MBL's done. A little bit unorthodox of himself as well. So we were talking all about the strength of the knights. However, the Teutons, again, have very good monks. So we're going to see a monk siege push with a few pikemen in there and probably a few knights. And this would have been best against a knight rush from Nicov. However, Nicov is now going for archers. I wonder if that's because he has seen this forward. And let me see if I do this right. And... oh, there we go. I did do this right. He hasn't seen the forward quite yet. I'm not really sure what prompted Nicov to go for the 2 archery ranges. However, this I think is a... this might be a good decision. It's hard to say. And he's going to go for cavalry archers, as I kind of expected. But it's definitely an unorthodox play. So no point in going archers here because the mangonels will counter them too heavily. So I think Cavalry Archers is the right play. I know some good players like to go for Cavalry Archers against Teutons. I've seen a lot of plays with Teutons and Cavalry Archers, but that's only because I've watched quite a few Melkor games on Arena. And look at this. Look at this wood line. So exposed. 2 knights coming in. However, we do have a Persian camel and a few Cavalry Archers. This is not a good fight for Nicov to be taking. He's going to lose his camel right away. And these knights are going to go to raid. +1 arm, +1 attack is not done, so they won't kill villagers too quickly. Scouts are going to take out the monk. Looks like the monk didn't get a good conversion, but that's going to be 2 scouts down. And those mangonels are still alive. One more bonus for the Persians that we don't see used too often. Persian town centers have double the HP, so that'll be a very valuable bonus right now. We can see that Nicov has Bodkin Arrow, as you can see on the bottom right here. So these Cavalry Archers have a good attack, but they don't have bloodlines quite yet. And Nikov's economy is looking very messy. He needs to replenish this lumber line. He needs to replenish this one as well. Here comes a few knights. Villager count right now, 4 ahead for MBL. And that's nice, getting a few shots on those knights, but it's probably not going to mean anything because these monks can heal. These hunks. So far, some pretty good damage from MBL. He's taken out 2 military production buildings, pressured this area quite well, making Nikov's economy quite messy. And boy, do I love this overlay. This is the first time I've casted with this, and already, so many times, I would have been used to clicking to another... Let's see this mangonel shot. Clicking to another tab, and I just don't have to do it because I could just look at the bottom. I can see right on the minimap, there's 3 town centers already up for MBL. And these little houses on the minimap. Yeah, the bot is not working today, unfortunately. We'll have it working next stream. It was a problem with one of the tokens, unfortunately, with the bot. But yeah, it's me. You know me pretty well, Goldstones. MBL's so micro-intensive. Both these players have pretty good micro. Oh! Ooh. Nice mangonel shot from MBL. There's this little hill here. You can just see it barely right here. That is so big in Mangonel Wars. As you can see, the Mangonel survived 1 shot. Nikov's going to pick that off. Now Nicov has a pretty good mass of Cavalry Archers. He still needs Bloodlines. That's a very important tech. Looking dicey. Looking dicey for both players. If the Mangonel shot hits, then these Cavalry Archers are going to die. This village is going to repair up this Scorpion. This one's only on 5 HP. MBL getting pushed back right now, but he's done some good harassment, and that clearly reflects... Oh, shoot. It doesn't, actually. I was going to say it clearly reflects in the villager number, but it doesn't. Either way, MBL should be getting a little bit further ahead in economy since he has the 3rd town center up earlier, but Nikov's army probably bodes a little bit better. And look at these big mangonel shots. Knight's going to pick off 1 mangonel. That's great. Going to hit another. MBL's micro's on point today. Just 1 more mangonel to go. MBL building his mangonel from there. That Scorpion somehow survived. A few knights going to waste themselves. Now MBL's going to go back. Looks like he's going to do some sort of knight transition. And this is not a bad position to be in if you're MBL. You're going knights as a cavalry civilization against the Persians who are going cavalry archers. I will take that matchup 9 times out of 10. Just an interesting side note, I do wonder how the Teutons' lack of husbandry and the Persians' lack of bracer will impact things in the late game. This is a recorded game. Yes, this is. Games of the Week is always recorded games. I find it easier to have quality games if you can see a few statistics on the game beforehand. And these Cavalry Archers are finally going to get in. This is the first raid of the game for Nicov. The first time he's gotten into these walls of MBL. And so far in the Castle Age... Oh, some more Mangonel Wars. Nice attack ground. This is the 3rd or 4th time we've seen a great attack ground from MBL with his Mangonels. And I bet you MBL's going to get another one right here. Nah, he's not. One big upgrade for Nicov, if he hasn't made it already, might be Husbandry. Because, again, that could be a big advantage he could have over Teutons' cavalry. And here comes another stable for Nicov. Looks like Nikov's not going to... No, he is. That is another archer range. I was going to say he might have been making a knight transition, but I don't think that's the right move. I kind of want to see how this plays itself out. Very curious to see how these cavalry archers with Husbandry do against the knights without Husbandry. But this is still a big problem for Nicov. This is actually Nikov's gold. So that's not good. MBL's taking some of Nikov's extra gold. Not good for the late game. Now here comes those knights. Going to storm right through. Nicov is out of position. Wanted to go for a raid, but now he knows he needs to come back because these knights are about to devastate him. This woodline's still so terrible for Nicov. And why is Nicov choosing to go for this woodline? Because he really can't go for another one. This one is being taken away. This one's being taken away. And now here's all that benefit of MBL squishing Nicov into this one tiny area. Now he can get some very good knight raids. +1 attack is really vital. It's unfortunately didn't come in. Oh, I didn't know you could do it. You can just click on the upgrade and it goes there. But +1 attack is really vital for raiding. It means you can kill villagers much quicker. So that was a good raid from MBL. Not a great raid. Nicov coming in with those cavalry archers right now to help stop everything. Villager count right now is 10 ahead for MBL. That's not a huge advantage, but it is a good one. Especially when you combine that with the positional advantage MBL has. And there we go. Night raid is cleaned up. But MBL, I bet you, is banking some resources. I don't have to bet you anymore. I have the I have it down here. So, no resources banked for MBL. I was wrong on that. Really spending everything he's got. But he's in a good position. And certainly a lot of units coming out across the map. I can tell you, though, that MBL is thinking about a castle and solidifying his position. Oh, for next stream, by the way, ooh, I forgot. You could get the chat up on screen. I realize that you don't have that right now for you. But yeah, that'll be next time. But look at this position for MBL. Just gotta place a castle right there. And these knights are still in. So hard to wall on a hill. Gonna get even more villager kills. And these cavalry archers just have not done the best job that they possibly could have done this game. Maybe some of that is Nikov's economy not being so strong, but also the cavalry archers just haven't been able to have the opportunity to raid. Here comes Nicov again, attempting to raid, and he should get some villager kills should he go to the stone. That'll help even things up quite a bit, especially if you go to the stone, but Nicov doesn't see the stone, doesn't see his opponent is taking that stone. And where's this castle for MBL? There it is. Great castle. 2 knights still in the back. Looks like Nikov's going to clean that up. Nicov taking a little bit stone of his own. Almost has enough for a castle. And going to run back. I don't think that Nicov has husbandry. Yeah, I think he does, actually. That's pretty quick. They're definitely a lot faster than the knights. And actually, there's the first castle from MBL. He's actually had enough stone for 2 castles. Trying to get it up. Going to use these Teutons towers to help him out. They actually aren't fully garrisoned. But if his castle goes up, look at how much wood that would be wasted for Nicov. Not to mention, Nicov is just getting pressed into the corner of the map. I don't know what that watchtower is. I think he needs a tower right there to prevent the castle. But that's not happening. But, on the bright side, Nicov has a ton of resources. He's got a ton of gold. He could buy his way up to Imperial Age right now. But keep in mind, this gold is not going to last. There's only one more gold mine to be mind for Nicov. So he needs to make this gold last until he can get onto another gold like this one. I do like that Nicov has been taking this gold in the north. You gotta take risks sometimes and send some villagers out for these extra resources, even when you're pressed into a corner. And Nicov, going into the Imperial Age first, could win a trebuchet battle, could take out a castle and 4 towers. And again, underrated bonus this game, this town center is still standing because it is a Persian town center. So that is helping to hold the front line. But here's the biggest problem area of the map. These knights can still raid here in the south, and this castle doesn't do a whole lot for protection. Guard tower now coming in. MBL solidifying his position. Yeah, quartered by Teutons town center, Teutons towers and castles. Can you imagine if MBL could get crenellations? How great that would be. But Nicov is going to have an opportunity. I think it might be better. I think it would definitely be better to switch into pikemen at this stage. Here comes the quick walls. That one is up in time. This gate was on so little HP, but that is up. Might have to put some more gates there. I don't know how you're going to wall that. But the cavalry archers are luckily back. And in the Castle Age, I would definitely say that the Persians' cavalry archers are stronger, at least potentially, than the Teutons knights. However, now, MBL can afford all the good cavalier upgrades, while Nicov is not going to be able to get the bracer. And I think that's a bigger deal than the Teutons not having husbandry at this point. But actually, this could be a throw. This is a very risky move from MBL. I would not have done this. Because Nikov's going to upgrade these cavalry archers. They're going to be stronger than the knights. The knights are kind of throwing themselves a little bit away to get some of these villagers. I don't know if that's the right move. I don't think it's the right move, actually. So we're going to see maybe 6 or 7 villagers going down. And MBL is actually going to get away with a lot of these knights. That hole is still there. It's quite obvious after seeing that hole being used the first time. So that is actually worth it. Losing 5 knights maybe for 8 or 9 villagers. And what are you doing? What are you doing, Nicov? Go kill the knights. Here's some big upgrades. Cavalier. Castle did go down, but these trebuchets are completely exposed. And both of them will go down. And these farms are still inaccessible. So Nicov going full into cavalry archers. Still needs bracer. I don't know why he got chemistry first. Maybe for bombard cannons? No. Don't see any yet. Oh, here's the first one. Going to be built. But Nicov needs to break out. He needs more resources. I thought he should have gone into pikemen. Big raid up in the north. Looking really solid for MBL. And it goes to show how important position is. Because this position, look at Nikov's woodline. Oh my god. There's 50 villagers in this one area. There's 72 villagers. This is... How much of... He's got 120 villagers. This is most of MBL's economy in the same screen. That is crazy. Why no house from Nicov? That is a good question. It is a very good question. Sometimes it's hard to transition, and there's the GG. MBL's going to take this game. So I really loved how MBL kept his position. Great Mega No Micro, but that hill was so important. Unorthodox play going for the monastery and the siege workshop, as opposed to like pumping knights from 2 stables. But that worked out quite well. Certainly holding that hill worked out quite well as well. Unorthodox play from Nicov going cavalry archers. I thought it was a decent move, but it didn't quite work out for him. Never able to get the good raids. And the big question mark for me about Nikov's gameplay this game would have been the Dark Age rush into scouts. And I just never liked that build, especially when your opponent is walled. That build was kind of whack. MBL went for a risky strategy, going for the fast castle into knights, and eventually the monk and siege push. But since Nicov chose such a wacky strategy in Feudal Age, that actually worked out quite well for MBL in this game. So good game from MBL. Going to take that one over Nicov. And I'll see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed.